everybody. My name is Maralee Burnett, and I am back again with the weekly astrology for the week of July 21st, 2025. As we are moving through summer quickly, we have a lot of activity, of course, to talk about. And this week we will have a big, fabulous new moon in the sign of Leo. So we'll give you the breakdown, of course, by sign. And I also have out there on my website a new moon intention setting worksheet, a new moon article. Of course, you'll know all of that if you subscribe right now by clicking on that subscribe button for here on this YouTube channel, as well as going out to, of course, my website, maraleeburnett.com, and sign up as a member there. And then that way, these tools, these video links, all get emailed to you directly so that you don't have to go looking for them. And of course, they arrive timely. These videos are posted every weekend, and for even more information on a day-to-day basis, check out my posts that I put, of course, on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok that give you a tarot card reading of the day and a little sprinkling in of astrology as well. So you won't want to miss that, so be sure and join me there as well. Okay, so this week, if you want to get ready for that new moon in the sign of Leo, which is very powerful, you probably want to book a session with me at maraleeburnett.com as well. I do have specials. I do have clients that love to meet with me just every month to get prepared for either a new moon or a full moon as well. And I love working with clients that way. And I have extra visitors this week, so I apologize in advance if you see some little extra characters running around in the background. Okay. You were with me last week. You heard me mention that there's this big T-square that's coming, and we were already seeing in the few days leading up to this new recording the intensity that is coming from this T-square. So let's break it all down, starting here on Monday, July 21st, and talk it through a little bit more. Now, this can be, of course, showing up and shaking things up in your life. This can be literally volcanic explosions, right? I always think of this T-square as it looks like a mountaintop, and there's a lot of pressure on this mountain, and that pressure has to be released. Now, if releasing the pressure is too much, well, maybe you can try to focus in the energy down here in the sign of Sagittarius to try to release some of this pressure. But more times than not, this exit point is where we see something released. And that something is information, because we're in the sign of Gemini and we have the moon meeting up with Venus. So this is a very emotional release of some kind. It can be somebody who is sharing the truth, somebody who is enlightening us about a secret. With both the moon in Gemini with Venus, there is the strong theme that has to do with women, information related to women, secrets related to women. And as I mentioned, because Venus has already been in close contact with Mars and the nodes leading up to this week, this can just be the culmination of all the information that we've been learning over the past week. And this is where there can be a response, there can be a reaction, and it's explosive. It's also fated and karmic because of the fact that it's Mars with the South Node, so acting, taking action on these Virgo types of qualities, which can be control, it can be details, it can be something to do with health, and it's letting that something go. So beyond the collective and all the crazy weirdness that's been going on in the week leading up to now, in our own lives, right? Especially with Mars helping us be motivated and take action on our health and on our healing and letting go of those situations that keep us unhealthy, that can be a good thing, right? Pressure doesn't have to be bad. Yes, there's some very bold red lines here, which does make the pressure intense, but sometimes that's what we need in order to move on from a very unhealthy situation. So that can be a very positive outcome. The North Node in Pisces, of course, is the other piece of this triangular pressure. And this is trying to call you where you want to head to. Someplace dreamy, someplace creative. And again, it has that theme of healing. It can be very spiritual. So this can be a bit of a collision between the past and the future. And that collision is created by this woman, maybe these women in your life that in some way are highlighting the struggle between the past and the future. So it will be a very intense Sunday, Monday, and Monday could be even more intense, but I do expect the weekend leading up, and as you're probably watching this today, that the circus is getting even more crazy and out of control. But like I said, for yourself, this is a great time to get back to something you love, such as writing, storytelling, communicating, getting back in touch with somebody from your past, and getting back in touch with that person can help you see a new path towards your future. So it doesn't all have to be bad, but it will be intense and can be life-changing. Anytime we're working with the nodes of fate, that means big changes that are destined for us are coming up. And so, of course, if you have planets in and around this 19 to 20 degrees of Gemini, of Virgo, of Pisces, you're going to experience whatever this is more intensely. And there's a certain someone that is leading the United States that has some very intense work because of the fact, in fact, both of our leaders have very strong Gemini energy in this area of their chart. So there is pressure, and we will see the response to all of the pressure coming up, like I said, Sunday, Monday in particular. So get your popcorn. We still have some very interesting energy to be navigating through. So let me know in the comments what's coming up for you. It's also very emotional, as I mentioned, because the moon is there and involved in this pressure, and also because the sun is in the sign of Mars. The sun is in the sign of Cancer, which is very emotional. And at 29 degrees, this is an intense, critical energy that is getting ready to move into the sign of Leo, and while in the sign of Leo, will have its new moon opportunity. That means the moon's following quickly behind, and they're both going to be opposing Pluto. So we're going to break that all down as we get closer here. But that is why, again, the sun is our ego self. And so now you have the sun shining the light on our emotional self, and it's a bit unstable. So again, don't let this affect you in a way that you respond in unhealthy ways. If you cannot channel your emotions in a healthy way because of feeling so unsettled, you need to get grounded, because the one thing that we're not seeing is a lot of grounding energy. We have Mars though. And so Mars is saying, if you want to feel grounded amongst all of this that's going on, connect to the earth, eat healthy foods, get outside, get moving. When the energy is working on you, the best thing you can do is get yourself moving, so it's not continuing to work on you internally. And that's what creates that anxious feeling within us. All right, that is Monday. So let's move ahead to Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we're still seeing the effects of this T-square. The The moon, though, has moved on, so it is now in its home sign of Cancer. So emotionally, intuitively, we feel strong. If you don't like feeling very emotional, then this is a tough couple of days as the moon moves through here, and especially as it's going to speak with Jupiter, because Jupiter expands on whatever it touches. And Jupiter is expanding on our emotions and our feelings and our intuition. And it is creating all the feels right now, and it definitely feels intense. But Jupiter's also a teacher. And so again, it's our feelings, our emotions, our intuition that is our greatest teacher at this time if we let it. And remember, this is bringing up the year 2013, which is the last time that we had Jupiter here. So there may be themes that are recurring for you that were in effect at that time, and maybe there was lessons you didn't learn back then that now you want to have a second chance. Well, you've got it, so take advantage of it. And as I mentioned, on Tuesday, we see the sun move into the sign of Leo, and it's the 22nd. 22 is a master builder number. And so we now have this opportunity for the sun to shine a light on the sign of Leo, which is fun, which is love, which is joyful, which is our passion, and help us reconnect there. And also Mercury is helping us reconnect there, because we are, of course, in the throes of Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo. So if you watched me last week, I told you, here's the work that you can expect from Mercury going through the sign of Leo. And you might need to tweak that a bit based on your actual chart, because of the fact that Mercury starts at the middle of the sign and goes back to almost the beginning. So this could split houses for you potentially. So again, always know your chart and then adjust my readings to match yours versus just listening to the sign of Leo, because depending on your degrees, you may be wanting to listen more to the sign of Cancer or the sign of Virgo. So just get to know your chart so you know the houses that are being impacted by this energy. Now, what we're going to see with that sun in Leo over the next several days is it's connecting with those outer planets that are part of that mini triangle. So on Tuesday specifically, things can get a little crazier, because this is a leader who could be acting really crazy and erratic because of the fact that the sun in Leo represents leaders like the big lion, and it is speaking in harmony with Uranus in the sign of Gemini. So there could be shocking revelations, shocking statements made by leaders. Leo is also about children, so there can again be shocking statements made related to children. And then we're speaking with Neptune and Saturn and Pluto in opposition. So this is a leader who has a lot of people in their corner, or this is a young leader that has the potential to make a difference. This can show up in so many different ways, but there's pressure. So as much as support that there is for this person and for you, where you want this light to be shining in your life, you have to face your fears first. You have to face challenges from other people, and that challenge can be intense. It also can be a bit hidden. So we'll talk about this a little bit more as we get into that new moon energy. But no, already the tension is building. The relationships, the energy is heightened. And the thing about Uranus, again, this 0 degrees, where it'll be till August 3rd, is we're just getting introduced to what the whole story is with Uranus. But today, the sun is combining energy with it. The sun's a fireball and Uranus is lightning. Things could get a little bit intense. Or should I say more? I know the energy just doesn't stop giving right now. And that Pluto energy is really getting fired up in so many different ways. That's why things are coming up that have been hidden and are being exposed because Pluto's being activated in so many different ways. Okay, that is Tuesday. Let us move ahead to Wednesday. So here on Wednesday, again, nothing is shifting dramatically this week, but you do still see this tension between Venus and Mars, right? The lovers of the zodiac are having a spat. Now, this collectively can be lovers that are having a spat, which of course we saw last week as well. And it can continue, or we may hear from the other side of the parties involved this week that is going to, like I said, continue to escalate the battle. And while they move farther away from the nodes, they're still, of course, being influenced by fate and karma. So if you think you're untouchable, you're not. And this is a reminder that the universe is in charge. And when it feels that it's time for things to be exposed, to teach us lessons, which is what the nodes do, they will be taught. So just keep that in mind. So that is what we see on Wednesday. We also see now the sun has moved to 1 degree. So it is getting exact in its trine here to Saturn and of course Neptune. They are closely tied together and marching backwards, right? Both in retrograde in the sign of Aries. So this is another fiery energy, but this one is related on the past. So this tells me this person is connecting with people from their past to help them succeed. And in a unique, interesting way that involves information, and how that information is transmitted is how they expect to succeed. Okay, that is Wednesday. And then I'm just moving us along so we can see the breakdown for this new moon on Thursday in the sign of Leo, as I mentioned. And I'm just going to pop this moon closer so that we can see the exact connection. I think this one's closer. All right. So here we have it. New moon in the sign of Leo. New moons are always a reset, so we can basically clear away any emotional baggage that we have, right? Every month we can clear away the emotional baggage. We have a blank slate and we can start over. With this new moon, we have a huge opportunity and a ton of support to make huge changes in our life as long as we're willing to face our fears, which are shown to us by Pluto. So here's the fears. Pluto in Aquarius. I don't want to be different. I want to fit in. I don't want people to not like me. And if my choices make me stand out versus fitting in the crowd, that feels a little scary. But the thing is, you have the support, as I mentioned, of Uranus. So you've got the information that you need to succeed. You also have the structure and the creative gifts. And in fact, those things come from the past. So it is a time to go after whatever you are passionate about. What do you love? What do you want from love? Do you want a new start from love? This is the time. And it's the goal of Pluto to show us what we're afraid of and then almost taunt us like, you can't do it, in order to get us to, it's like reverse psychological warfare, right? It's like reverse psychology. You can't do this. And your goal is to show, yes, you can, and that you are strong, that you are a leader, that your heart is going to guide you, and you're ready to start something new. And when you start something new, you're leaning on the lessons of the past. Saturn is also karma from the past. And you're tapping back into your spiritual side, your creative side. You are tapping back into a dream that you forgot. And now it's coming back. It's being revived. I think I've said this before, that this Uranus energy in Gemini is like a set of jumper cables to your mind. And it is reigniting something for you. A passion to learn, a passion to speak up and speak out. So it is a pretty heavy hitter as far as new moons go. So you absolutely want to take full advantage of this. You want to create your 10 new moon intentions, your new moon wishes, and you want to use fire in your ceremonies. These are really good ones for setting intentions and speaking them into a candle. So the power of the flame raises your intentions up through the heavens. You can use the candles to burn, do a fire safely outside if you're not in a fire ban situation. And again, burn those intentions. And especially if you are looking for things that you want to release, like fears, so that you can allow yourself to stand out. Those are great things to set as intentions and to release through the fire. So much going on. And it's the pressure and the conflict of this week. It's also seeing all the ugly that we're seeing right now that makes us so passionate about seeking and finding joy, even in the little things. That's what we should be doing instead of trying to make big grand gestures. You don't have to do that. You can just start small with the littlest things that bring you joy. And so that is a great intention to ask to be shown or reminded of the things that you did when you weren't attaching fear or judgment to doing them. That's what you want to do going forward. Now, Mercury is in the sign of Leo. It's too far away to be considered conjunct, right? Because we're talking about 11-degree separation. However, for many of you, this is still going to happen in the same house as you're having this Mercury retrograde event. So if you didn't watch last week's video, because that will tell you where this is happening and what you might expect. But the overarching theme about Mercury in the sign of Leo is getting back to what you love, remembering, right? Mercury rules the mind. What you used to really love. Maybe it's love that you used to love and you've gotten away from it. For every one of us, it's a unique experience. And with the ruler of Leo being the sun, that makes this, again, a very strong, very powerful new moon that you want to be setting those intentions with. But it's a little like an eclipse where I say, what do you want to release in order to start fresh? What do you want to remember from the past that was good and brought you joy? So there's a lot of going back in time energy associated with starting something new. It's going to be unique, of course, for each and every one of you, but it can end up being something really beautiful if you let this in. And when we're dealing with the nodes at this time, because of that connection with Venus and Mars, you want to trust how you're being guided. Even if you think that guidance seems way off the wall, listen, don't downplay it. Don't dig into your fears, but just trust the process and whatever's showing up for you at this time. Because again, this is the lion. You are meant to lead. You're meant to be in charge of your life. And you might even be meant to be taking care of your pride, right? Actual pride, or maybe your lion pride, right? What is it for you that if you were not afraid of allowing yourself to have pride? Now, there's a difference between being stuck up and egotistical and having pride. Pride means I am proud of who I am and what I'm doing, regardless, Pluto and Aquarius, of what other people think of me. So let that message shine through in the intentions that you're going to set for yourself. So, exactly like last week's intentions, we are covering the same houses. So, what this story, and I keep feeling into this time because of Uranus and Gemini, and now Mercury in the sign of Leo, as this is about storytelling. And what was the story of the past, Mercury in retrograde, and now what do you want the story of your future to be going forward? So Mercury's starting to dig things up from the past, helping you reconnect with the past. And like I said, what you love, what you're passionate about. And that reminder was needed before this new moon happened. Because again, nothing is an accident in astrology. It's all a woven storyline. And this is your opportunity now, based on what you've just been shown, right? Because we're only at the very beginning of this Mercury retrograde, but there's something, there's already a glimmer, there is a truth that has come to you that is helping guide you on what these new intentions are. And remember, Saturn gives you the plan, it gives you the structure. Neptune shows you the dream. So you've got everything you need, plus that little antagonist Pluto to help you create tremendous breakthroughs. So let's break it on down and see what that will be for you. As usual, we get started with the sign of Aries. And Aries, this for you is just like last week, happening in your fifth house. Now, if it's not your fifth house, of course, you want to listen to the sign before or after this based on your actual chart. But in the fifth house, we are remembering all the things that are Leo: love, joy, children. And if you are wanting to have a child or give birth to something new, something creative, a hobby, then this is the time for you to do exactly that. It's time for you to give birth to something new. And most importantly, it's time for you to listen to your heart and let that come through for you. Now, I've heard from many people who say, I don't want to reconnect with anybody I loved in the past. And you don't necessarily have to, but there may be somebody new who comes into your life that reminds you of something or someone that you loved in the past, and you may want to reconnect with them. You may have an opportunity to reconnect with your children. Whatever your storyline is, it is very much tied to your heart, and you want to let your heart be free and enjoy love and passion in your life again. Next, we have Taurus. So Taurus, this for you is happening in your fourth house. Fourth house rules home, it rules family, it can rule your mother, it can rule your ancestors. This is the fourth house is the lowest point in your chart. It's what creates that basement in your house, your foundation if you don't have a basement. It's what holds your house up. So if your foundations have been a little on the weak side, then this is a time for you to, again, remember to love yourself. And if you aren't getting the care and nurture from your family, then now you can do that for yourself because you're not a child anymore. Yes, it hurts, but don't let the past define you. In fact, let the past define who you want to be in spite of your past. Now, if this is more simply related to the home that you are in, then this can be a new beginning, which could involve a new home. It could involve remodeling the home that you are currently in, and maybe it involves adding somebody into your home. But that, whatever it is, because of the fact, and this is true for all signs, that Saturn is involved, whatever this new thing is that you begin is something that you're going to be committed to for a long time. So make sure you truly love where you live. And if not, it's time to do something about it. And then we have Gemini. Gemini, this is your third house, which is all things related to Gemini. It is communication. It could be transportation. It's the community. It can be your extended family members, your siblings, your cousins. So there's something new that you want to start there. And if we take the concept of Leo and children, then maybe this is a time for your reconnection with your community. Maybe you are somebody who's moving back to your community and taking on a leadership role of some kind. The third house could also see you going back to school to pursue something that you love. And it could, of course, have you taking, like I said, a leadership role as a result of completing some type of training that you have been in. Lots of opportunities here. But most importantly, it is making sure that you are clear on what you want and you're willing to start to go after it, and making sure you feel like you're a part of the community that you live in. And if not, then maybe it's time to make some changes. Cancers. This is for you happening in your second house. So this could bring you a new opportunity related to the money that you make, which of course is most often related to the work that you do. Is there work that you did in the past that you truly loved and that brought you joy? Then this can be a time for you to reconnect with that, or reconnect with somebody from the past that helps remind you. There can be somebody, because of that Mercury retrograde in that second house, who reaches out to you with some kind of a teaching opportunity. Maybe some of you are going to start doing leadership workshops because of the combination of Mercury in the sign of Leo. And when we do what we love, this is why people say then you never work a day in your life. Well, of course you're working, but it doesn't feel like a burden because it is what you love to do. You have a chance for that to be reignited, that passion, and that way you are going to increase your opportunities and maybe take on a new leadership role where you work. So good news on the financial front for you, Cancers, as long as you pursue what you're passionate about, not just a paycheck. All right. Leos, this for you is, of course, your first house. This is all about you. This is celebrating yourself. This is putting yourself in the spotlight. It's facing your fears, which can feel very strong right now with that Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, because this is directly confronting you and who you are. And it could be a confrontation that's coming from your partner, whether it's a marriage partner, business partner, or a very close friend. There's something for you early on, Leos, that is really challenging you, and the pressure is on. But you have a chance to break free from that pressure from other people and instead choose who you want to be and how you want to shine your light in the world and reinvent yourself at this time. So something's been coming up. Something's been on your mind because of this Mercury retrograde. And remember, we were in pre-shadow at the end of June. So this, even though Mercury has just turned retrograde, we've been seeing this for the past 3 weeks. Whatever this is that you want to get reconnected with, your own heart, your own passion, and start again. And just remember, you have to do it in a way that Saturn and Neptune support you, right? This is going back to something maybe that you started in the past and then you gave up on because you didn't have a good enough plan to implement to achieve what it is that you wanted. But now, with the help of Saturn, and these could be leaders from your past, you're about to have a huge breakthrough and you're really going to start shining your light. So do it. Let me know in the comments what that ends up being. All right, then we have the sign of Virgo. And Virgo, this is 12th house work. And new beginnings in the 12th house with a sign that can rule our health is a time for a fresh start, especially when it comes to our psychological health. Because the 12th house is all things that are hidden beneath the surface. These are our false beliefs. Someone asked me earlier this week in a session, well, how do I know what's buried in there? Hypnosis is a great way to do that. So is meditation. And so is journaling, where you ask the question to the universe and start writing the answer back to yourself. There's so many ways that we can dig up whatever's keeping us blocked, stuck, depressed, sad, isolated, right? Because the 12th house is things where we also feel isolated. And it can be things like a large institution, a large organization where you feel like you're just a number and nobody cares about you. Isolated in a hospital with mental health issues, whatever this isolation is, this unhealthy behavior is, that's what this 12th house can do, is shine a light on it so that you can see it, understand it, and most importantly, release it. And then again, you've got the people here to help you with Saturn and Neptune rules that 12th house. So you've got somebody very strong in your corner, a healer of some kind. Can be spiritual work, doesn't have to just be medical or psychological. It can be spiritual reawakening for you as well, which of course is very opposite of what you like, Virgo. You like to know the facts and the details. You got to be able to prove it. And then you've got to be able to organize whatever it is. But that Pisces energy, that 12th house, is about trust and faith and being in the flow. So this can feel really outside of your comfort zone. But again, if you get these breakthroughs for yourself, life's going to feel a lot more joyful. So go for it. Next, we have the sign of Libra. Libra, this happens for you in your 11th house. This is having a new opportunity to create friends, to create networks, to be of service, to join groups that are providing an important service to other people. Again, if you are feeling a little lost and like you don't fit in and you don't belong, joining a group that does work that you're passionate about is going to help. So we're talking about Leo. We can be talking about children here. You have an opportunity where you could volunteer at a children's hospital, for instance, and that would have you feeling like you are contributing, making a difference in the world, and making a difference in a child's life, which of course will fill your heart with love and joy and appreciation. Could be any of those things. As long as you let yourself shine, then the joy will come through your heart in that connection. And again, with this Leo energy, there could be a leadership role that you take. So maybe you're the one that's starting some kind of a service to your community, and you are going to be the one who's shining and making a difference. All positive things, Libra. Next, we have Scorpio. So Scorpio, for you, this is all about your career, right? The 10th house up here is at the height of our chart. So this is where we are standing out. We are achieving our goals and dreams, and those dreams are most often associated with our career. Now, sometimes this is just about your status. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't work, so it's your reputation, what you're most known for. And if you don't like what you've been most known for, well, again, this is a time of change, rebirth, transformation, as long as you face those fears of getting known, of getting recognized, right? You're Scorpio. You like to hide a little bit beneath the surface, but you're also very powerful. So this can be a new leadership role for you. And again, that new leadership role is something that is supported based on something that you've already done in the past. You may want to stay connected with a mentor from the past that's aligned with the work you do, and they may have good advice on how to approach your new leadership role in a way that brings fun, not to just yourself, but also to those that you are working with or those you are leading. Right? It's always important that we make that emotional connection to whoever we are working with, because that is what comes through in the work that you do, no matter what that is. So use your power wisely. Pluto, your ruler, right, is opposing this new beginning, which means you have to be authentic. Whatever you're doing has to come deep within you, and it also has to invite a tremendous amount of change and stepping fully into your power. Then we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you are, of course, this 9th house energy, because that's what Sagittarius rules over. So this is something you're very comfortable with. And plus, you're a fellow fire sign. You feel truly inspired and passionate about this opportunity. Now, 9th house rules foreign people, foreign places, foreign countries. It also rules spiritual teachers, higher education, and big important mentor could be returning to you and your life in some way that then provides you a huge growth opportunity that you were not expecting, but you're going to end up being very excited and wanting to pursue it. Now, most Sagittariuses that I know love a new adventure. And that's what you have coming up for you now, is a new adventure. And being willing to take that leap of faith and go after it could end up creating a big change for you in the type of work that you do, because that's where Pluto's down there stirring things up in your 2nd house, is saying, are you doing work that makes a difference? Do you feel connected? Are you reviving people as a part of the work that you do? And if you're not, it's time to get realigned with that. So this energy is really helping you in a way that challenges you, but then could end up resulting in a pay increase somehow. All right. Next, we have Capricorn. Capricorn, this happens for you in your 8th house, which is a bit of a challenging house for you because you like everything to be controlled and structured. Thank you, Saturn. And the 8th house is all about rebirth, it's death, it's transformation, it's intense, right? It's all the things. And they align with you in some ways, because this also can be a financial house. But that change, that constant change in the 8th house is not necessarily something Capricorn completely appreciates. But there is this big rebirth opportunity that is showing up for you at this time that, of course, you want to take advantage of. Now, this could be you taking a leadership role in a financial institution based on a recommendation from some leader that you worked with in the past. But taking on this new role would create a tremendous amount of change in your life. You could have to restructure everything about your life in order to take on this new role and this new opportunity. But you're so successful, Capricorns, once you set your mind to doing something. So you can change, you can transform this area of your life as long as you're doing it in a way that speaks to your heart and you're passionate about it. It could even be you taking a hobby and turning it into something that generates income for yourself. Lots of ways you can change and shake up your life right now. Then we have the sign of Aquarius. Of course, we keep talking about this Aquarius, especially you early degree Aquariuses with Pluto there. But Pluto's retrograde, so it's giving you some time to reflect on what and how you want to change yourself and take your power back. That's not about abusing your power. And so this is a new beginning in your 7th house. it may be that you've been facing your fears as far as relationships goes and commitments in general. Because Aquarius, you like to be free and you like to be spontaneous and you want to be your own unique self, and that can make it challenging for your partner because they don't know whether you're coming or going sometimes. But if you're getting comfortable with who you are and you're not looking for your partner to lift you up and make you feel better about yourself, but instead accept you as who you are, then you can have a rebirth as far as your marriage goes or as far as your willingness to commit goes. And this could be, again, a beginning of a new commitment, a new committed relationship for you as a result of this. And again, there is the connection to the past. That doesn't mean it has to be somebody from your past, but it could be energy that reminds you again of somebody from your past, or the lessons that you've learned from past relationships now have you really clear on what you want from a relationship going forward, and that's why you're feeling more committed. And if it's not a relationship that's personal, it could be about business and starting up a new business partnership in a business that you love and that you are passionate about. It could be associated again with children. Maybe you're somebody who wants to start a daycare. Well, this would be the time to do that, and then you'd have the resources and the plans that would help you accomplish your dreams and your goals. And last and never least, we have Pisces. And Pisces, this is your 6th house. So this is a new beginning for you that's related to 6th house topics. It's your work, because it's day-to-day energy. It is your health, and it is things where we might be of service to others. It can be even our pets, right? Anything that you think of that's a part of your day-to-day life that you deal with this consistently, right? The food you eat, how you exercise, the type of work you do, the people you work with. There's something about that area of your life that you're ready for a fresh start. And that fresh start is helped along the way by some people who are older and wiser and more knowledgeable and can help guide you on how to start over, start fresh, start new. And of course, as usual, we've got to face that Pluto energy, and that sits in your 12th house. So this is helping to bring things to the surface that you weren't aware of that may be making your health difficult or your job, right? And showing you how focusing in on what you're afraid of is just going to keep creating more things to be afraid of or fearful of. So this is a new beginning that happens because you faced your fears and you were willing to go after what you love, what you're passionate about. And that could be a new leadership role for some of you out there. Okay, that is just some ideas for how this new moon can show up for you. But as I say every time, we're not taking into account how this is affected by any of your own chart angles, which are the ascendant, descendant, that midheaven, and the IC, or your personal natal planets. So like the other things that we've talked about, the closer you are in this 2-degree energy, the more impact this new beginning will have for you. And of course, the harmonious new beginnings come from the fellow fire signs like Aries and Sagittarius. So those at those early degrees, again, don't waste this. Use this energy, work with this energy. Don't wait for something new to happen. Start making things happen. So I've been coaching people this week on connecting to something that brings you joy and makes you happy. Is it baking? Is it playing a sport? Is it reading? Is it relaxing? Is it swimming? Whatever it is for you, just do it with no other intention than to just have fun. You're not swimming to work out. You're not cooking to eat healthy, right? You're just doing whatever the activity is for the simple, pure joy of doing it. And then I guarantee you, while you're doing it, the intention that you need to focus on, whatever that new beginning is, will show up for you. So if you want something new in your life, don't wait for the universe to come hand it to you. Show up and meet the universe and its energy and collaborate with it. And that's how your new beginnings will happen. Okay. There we go. That is Thursday, the 24th. And as we move on into Friday, we don't have a whole lot else to talk about. In fact, for the whole rest of the weekend, everything is going to kind of settle in so we can get comfortable with the uncomfortable, which is definitely what's showing up right now. What we will see, though, on Friday, which might help us, again, as I mentioned, get out, do something you loved in the past that you haven't done forever, and your intuition will be your guide on what it is that you're supposed to be working on at this time with that Mercury retrograde and with that new moon. So this new moon that's just been rebirthed by the sun immediately is having a conversation with Mercury in retrograde. So again, as I mentioned, if you're doing something fun, then your intuition will guide you on what your best next steps will be for you. You got to have a plan. You got to have a dream. It's got to be dreaming big. And it's about remembering what you let go of so long ago because you were afraid, because you thought you couldn't succeed. And that's just not true anymore. So go after what you love, what you dreamed about so many years ago. It's time to get back to it and really succeed. And then you'll see as we move this forward, we aren't making any new connections. The sun's moving forward, Mercury's moving backwards, and the moon will move out of Leo and into the grounded earthy energy of the sign of Virgo for the rest of the weekend, which can help us compartmentalize our feelings a bit, to help us get more grounded and again connect with that earth energy if you're feeling that things have been a little too chaotic and out of control. And you'll see that same movement is showing up for us on Sunday. Again, Mercury is marching closer to the sun. Mars is moving away from the nodes, and Venus in Gemini is moving forward ahead and getting ready to splash into the sign of Cancer. So let us quickly take a look at next week, which is basically what I just mentioned for you as a preview from this weekend. But what we'll end up seeing is the last planet, which is Chiron, in the sign of Aries, will go retrograde. So now all of the planets lined up for July's retrograde season are now all retrograde, which meant Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, and now Chiron. So this is the time for us to slow down and reflect on, again, what do we love? What are we passionate about? What do we want for ourselves? Aries, me as an individual, me not choosing what's best for everybody else, but choosing what's best for me. And it's just like when we always say, if you're in an airplane and you lose cabin pressure and the mask drops down, you put your mask on first. And by taking care of yourself first, you're able to help take care of others. And that's the work of Chiron in Aries. I have to be strong. I have to be confident. And when I am, then I can help and teach others to do the same for themselves. So that's the storyline of Chiron. Then we're going to end up seeing later in the week, Mercury is going to join with the sun. So that means a Mercury Cazimi moment. But this is an aha moment based on the past. So this could be a pretty big, wild event. And as I mentioned, we'll also see Venus splash into the sign of Cancer, which she appreciates the emotional nature of Cancer. She's nobody's mother. She doesn't want to desperately do that. But your desire for comfort foods definitely be stronger over the next 3 weeks as we see Venus move into the sign of Cancer. So that's just a quick rundown. We'll break it all down next week, of course, in more detail, but it'll be a pretty quick and easy week next week. So be ready for a quick, short video. But just a reminder, subscribe so that you get notification when these videos launch, and subscribe to me so that you get all of the daily, because those tarot cards have been spot on with talking about the energy on a day-to-day basis that, of course, is influenced by the astrology. All right, I hope to see some of you during your new moon sessions in the days ahead, and look forward to helping you all, at least virtually, set your intentions for a beautiful new beginning somewhere in your life. And keep me posted in the comments on what that ends up being. All right, everybody, take care, and thank you so much for tuning in, liking, and commenting on any of my channels, and I always respond. So thank you for taking the time. Have a great day, and we'll talk next week.